everything right, it was you and me.
Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, hi, my name is Nayeema and today we are going over all of the books that I read in January. So in January I read a total of about 12 books, which is not bad for me because I was going through a reading slump and it took me so long to get over it, but I'm finally over it. So during the tail end of January I was able to pick up a few more books. Yeah, I'm really excited to talk to you guys about all the books that I read in January. I found some amazing new authors that I can't wait to read more from, and books that I've had on my TBR for a while now. So without further ado, let's get right into my January wrap up. So the first 3 books that I read in January are all featured in my 24-hour reading vlog, so I will have that link down below. I'm not going to spend too much time talking about them in this video just because I have a whole video dedicated to it in that vlog. So I'll just quickly tell you guys my ratings for them and maybe a few words. So the first book that I read in January was Ruined Castles by Emma Jones, and this is the final book in the Silver Swan series, or the Elite Kings Club series. This book made me just so sad because it's the last one. If you're an Elite Kings fan like me, you know that this book was really hard-hitting and emotional, especially with Madison and Bishop, but I'm so glad they get their happily ever after, and I cannot wait for the next generation with all their kids. It's going to be amazing. And I ended up rating this one 4 stars just because it was really short. I don't know, it wasn't like a new fave or anything. The next book that I read was The Bride Test by Helen Hoang, and this book, I ended up giving this one 5 stars. Again, my thoughts are in that video, but this was just so cute and wholesome and I loved it to my core. It was so cute, and I need to read The Heart Principle now, and I need to stay up to date on everything Helen Hoang writes. This was everything. I definitely like this one more than The Kiss Quotient, and I'm so excited to read The Heart Principle. The next book that I read was The Cheat Sheet by Sarah Adams, and I rated this one 4 stars. This one was a really cute moment. After I read The Bride Test, I knew that I wanted to read another cute and like just sweet, wholesome rom-com type book, and this was great. I haven't read Friends to Lovers in so long. It also has Mutual Pining. I just thought it was so cute. Both have such strong feelings for each other. They've been friends for years, but they are afraid to say something to the other person because they don't want to be rejected. I just thought it was so good. So good. I loved it so much. So I ended up giving this one 4 stars. The next book that I read was Scarred by Emily McIntyre. And unfortunately, this is the book that I read right in the very beginning of my reading slump. This kind of helped me get into that reading slump. So unfortunately, I was not really in the mood. I ended up giving this one 3 stars, which I loved Hooked by Emily McIntyre. So I don't really know what went wrong with Scarred. I just think I think I didn't care enough, honestly. It's basically about this girl, like set in like medieval kind of like times, like kings and queens and castles and shit like that. So it's this girl and she is a part of this like kingdom or whatever, but she comes from like the poor side, I guess. She basically gets into like an arranged marriage with the prince of the castle of the kingdom, and she is actually like undercover. She is trying to overrule that prince and get like revenge on the kingdom and the royal family after they did not such good things to her family and like the people who didn't deserve it. So she's really just trying to get revenge on that prince, but she ends up falling in love with the prince's brother, the like ugly duckling, if you will, the scarred hero. Him and his brother don't have like a good relationship, overrule them, I guess, but she's also falling in love with the brother. It was actually an okay book. Like I gave it 3 stars. I would definitely recommend it, but it just during the reading slump it wasn't giving what I needed it to give. But I will say that the smut was fantastic. Like it was so good. The next book that I read was Bulky by Jessica Cain, and this was my first Jessica Cain novella that I've ever read, and this was recommended to me by my friend M from M Reads Romance, and I loved this book. I thought that this was such a good palette cleanser. After I read Scarred, I wasn't reading books for a couple of weeks, so when I read Bulky, I was like, oh my, like this book was so good. It's basically like a best friend's dad romance with this girl, and she has been pining after her best friend's father for years and years and years, and so when she turns 18, she decides to kind of like make a move on him. He shuts it down very quickly, but she is not done yet, so she really needs to make money. Her dad is like going bankrupt or something like that, and she needs money in order to get to college. So she decides to create an account on this sugar baby website, and she decides to send the link to her her best friend's father. He sees it and he like knows this girl, like he has seen her grow up, and obviously like she's best friends with his son. So when he saw it, he was pissed. He's like, no, you need to take this down immediately. Like, absolutely not. They end up having a little sugar daddy, sugar baby romance relationship. It was so good. I don't know what it was. I loved like the kink in here. It was just really, it was a good time. It was a good time. I enjoyed it, and it was a great palette cleanser, and I definitely want to read more of Jessica Cain's novellas. I feel like they'll all be super good palette cleansers whenever I'm just in the mood for something sweet and short. Yeah, I'm definitely excited to give more novellas a try this year. The next book that I read was The Takeover by Teal Swan, and I ended up listening to this. This was like a select book with Kindle Unlimited that you could listen to with Audible. So I ended up listening to it. I gave this book 5 stars, and I'm so pissed at myself that I haven't read it sooner, but it was so good. I loved this book. It's basically like a billionaire romance between 2 rivaling media companies. They're both like news outlets, like CNN type things. The heroine's media company is failing. She's actually a widow. So her husband created this company and then he passed away, and now the company is suffering really harshly. This originally starts off with the hero coming to the heroine's like trying to buy out her company, and she's like, no, like this is my dead husband's legacy, like I'm keeping this, I'm not selling it to you. And so it's immediate like dislike. They don't like, or she doesn't like him. He's really intrigued by her, and a few weeks later they meet at this conference again, and a whole like kind of friends with benefit sues, and it's really cute. And she has like 3 sons, and it's just so great. And I definitely want to read more with heroines who like have sons, and the hero has to like work to get in their good graces so he can be a part of the family. I thought it was so cute. I thought it was so cute. 5 stars. And I love Teal Swan's writing. I've never not liked one of her books, so I definitely want to read more. The next book that I read was Not My Match by 𝓼𝓸𝓬𝓲𝓪, and I ended up buddy reading this with my friend Reagan from nayemasreads, and unfortunately I gave this book 1 star. This was in the very height of my reading slump, and I just didn't care about the characters. Maybe I should have read Not My Romeo first, but that one just didn't sound appealing to me. And this one, I did not care. It basically follows the little sister of the heroine in the first book, Not My Romeo, and then the hero's best friend in Not My Romeo, and it's a romance between them. It's forbidden. She's way younger than him, and she's also like a virgin, and he really cares about her, and they're both super attracted to each other, so there's a little bit of mutual pining in there, and I just really simply did not care. I thought it was probably would have been at least a 3-star read if I was not going through a reading slump, but I ended up giving it 1 star. I just didn't care, and it really made me sad because Dear Ava by 𝓼𝓸𝓬𝓲𝓪 was my favorite book of 2020. So I'm very sad that I didn't like this book, but I am willing to give it another try now that I'm out of my reading slump. And then I found my favorite series ever. I binge read all 5 of the books. I binge read all 5 of the books, and you probably know what I'm gonna say. I filmed my February TBR before I read this entire series, so if you saw it on my February TBR, oops, I accidentally binged the entire series in a couple of days. So not going to be reread again in February, but that is the Mindfuck series by St. Abby or Stabby. I loved this series. Every single book was 5 stars. So if you don't know what the series is about, it's about this girl named Lana, and she is a serial killer. She's basically like getting her revenge on a bunch of men who treated her horribly one night. And she's killing each and every one of them violently and disturbingly. And so she has a business partner named Jake, and they just go around killing the men that wrong them. Lana, in the first book, she meets an FBI agent named SSA Bennett or Logan Bennett, and Logan and Lana hit it off right away. There's so much chemistry between them. I really like this romance because it was just very much, I felt very normal in a way, not the fact that they're like serial killers and FBI agents, but just like the way their romance was progressing, it felt very normal. Like it felt more realistic than most romance books that I read. They're both super busy people, so they had to like meet up whenever like they were both free. I don't know, it just felt very realistic and very wholesome, and they had such strong feelings for each other. But the thing is, the FBI agent, Logan, he's actually trying to figure out who is killing all these people, and clearly it is 𝓼𝓸𝓬𝓬. Kind of has his blinders on, and 𝓼𝓸𝓬 is very good at what she does. She's like such a badass. She never leaves evidence behind that could lead them back to her, and she's just doing what she needs to do. And I loved reading about 𝓼𝓸𝓬. She is for sure one of my favorite heroines, and I just love her so much. She's amazing. This series took me places. Buddy reading this book with a few people, and we were DMing while we were reading it, and it was just amazing. I loved my experience reading it, and this series single-handedly got me out of my reading slump, so I'm grateful because I missed reading so much. I highly recommend this book. I will say it is very, very gory, and to definitely check up on the trigger warnings for some not so pleasant things. I ended up loving this series so much, and I highly recommend. The hype is so well deserved for this one. And the last book that I read in January was Role Model by Rachel Reed, and this book, I ended up giving it 3.5 stars. It was really cute. It was everything. It's like the 4th or 5th book in this series by Rachel Reed called The Game Changers, I believe. And these are all hockey romances, which I love. has gotten me addicted, and I can't wait to read more hockey romances. But this book follows this guy named Troy, and he is kind of down on his luck. He got into a fight with his best friend, who is also like a star hockey player, and his best friend has been accused of sexually assaulting women. So Troy called him out on it, and because of that, he gets traded to a not so good team, Ottawa, in the NHL. I want to say the first 36%, this man is just depressed. Like, he is so incredibly depressed. He is not enjoying life right now. The world hates him right now. How sports fandoms work, if their favorite is called out for sexually assaulting someone, they will completely ignore it, like usual in this world. But because of that, he is getting so much hate. He's not liked by anyone, and it's just really, he's just going through a really rough time. And on top of that, he is closeted. He feels like he can't come out with who he is, which is gay, and he hates the world. He's down on his luck. So, and also his boyfriend, his secret boyfriend, just broke up with him and came out and now is dating like another famous actor or something like that. So he's not happy. So he joins this team, and right away he meets the social media manager for the Ottawa team, and his name is Harris, and he is out and proud. He is just he's wearing like rainbow pins. He's a very happy, sunshiny guy. So it is a grumpy sunshine dynamic, which I love. And they become really good friends. Harris is there for Troy because obviously Troy is going through a lot, and they just have this like undeniable chemistry. They're friends. Harris is like a big goofball and a sweetie, and Troy is only sweet to really Harris. It's kind of like I hate everyone but you in a way as well. And he's just kind of like a major asshole to everyone in his life and around him because it's a shield. It's how he hides who he is. I ended up really enjoying this book. I gave it 3.5 stars, and I love the 𝓼𝓸𝓬𝓲𝓪 content, which is one of the heroes in the second book. I love him so much. And yeah, I ended up really enjoying this book. I thought it was really cute. I thought it was really wholesome. I think these two characters worked so well together. It was a great grumpy sunshine dynamic, and the smut, of course, was fantastic. And I just love this book. I ended up giving it 3.5 stars just because it's not like a favorite, but it was still really cute, and I highly recommend this series for anyone who is into hockey romances or wants a good sports romance to read. So those were the 12 books that I read in January. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a big like and a comment down below, and also subscribe so you never miss another upload from me. And I will see you very soon in my next video. Bye.
If I got one thing right, it was you and me.